Hello everyone, and welcome back to AmateurHammer. Today we're doing our second paint preview. This time it's going to be my Beastboss on a Squigosaur. This is a model I'm pretty proud of. This is him in his early stages when I was painting him. I had just started on the Squigosaur. I took what I learned from my last Warboss that y'all saw, and I put that technique into practice here on a larger scale. I started with a base coat of, I believe, corn red. And then after that, I mixed corn red with Evil Sun Scarlet to make a different color red, an orangish red, and put that over everything but the deepest crevices. And then I took Evil Sun Scarlet itself and put that on just the edges of the model. This is a pretty early picture of it. I hadn't even started painting the orc on top. In this next picture, I went ahead and painted his teeth. I was pretty happy with how his teeth turned out. I always make like a different combination of colors for teeth or bone. Now I have a color that I use for it. I don't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but I usually just use white scar and just different browns I have. I have two different color browns. One's darker, one's lighter, and then a little bit of flashgate yellow. And I'll mix it till I'm happy with it, and I'll do the bone and teeth and things like that color. I haven't done the metallics yet. I know a lot of people, they preach to paint the metallics first, and I don't know why, and I don't really do it. I just kind of go with what I want to do at the time. If I feel like painting metallics, I'll paint metallics. If I feel like painting skin, I'll paint skin. In this next picture, it's pretty much the model's done. I have less in between pictures for this model, just because I wanted to use it that day. So I sat down for a solid 4 or 5 hours and just really knocked this guy out, painted him. For his armor, or not so much his armor, but like his clothes, his beast hide mantle, I just left it black from my Chaos Black primer, and I think primer makes the best black. Like, if you have to have a lot of black on your model, this is what I do in general, is if you have to have like a color that is really in the crevices that you don't want to go over and paint, you just prime it that color, and then paint over it with different colors. It makes it a lot easier. In this picture, I've had the metallics painted. I haven't based. No, I don't do a lot of checkerboards. It's really a pain in the butt to freehand those checkerboards that you see on a lot of orc box art. But I'm still happy with how they turn out. Here's just another close-up of him being finished. This is after I put a wash on him. I always use Agrix Earthshade. That is the go-to orc wash. Now, if you're painting like mechanical parts of the orc army, like exhaust pipes that are spitting out fumes all day, or engines, things like that, I would use a non oil. I think that's the better paint for that. But for this, he's dirty, he's gross, he's an orc. He fights all day and doesn't care about anything else. He doesn't care about being clean. So the brown that the Agrix Earthshade really helps with that. I painted the inside of the squig mouth just a base of corn red. I think it makes it, that dark deep red that corn red is better on the inside of the mouth opposed to the skin. On this model, I didn't really do what I did with the last one with the orc itself. I didn't layer up a bunch of different greens on it because I did that with the Squigosaur. And since the Squigosaur is like the model, you see it and like that's the first thing you're going to see, I really built up that red and just kind of did wall flesh for the green on the orc itself. All the metallics, I went ahead and painted that. I really just used one lead belcher for the metallics. I didn't really paint anything else except for, the gold bit down there on the belt, and I'm happy with how it turned out. And here's a really close-up of the model. You can see down there its talons, same color as its teeth. I went ahead and painted that little drool bubble there. I painted that blue. And I used a different blue than his eyes. Maybe I used the same blue for his eyes. I don't really remember, but I'm happy with how it turned out. It looks pretty gross, like it should. And it's not perfect. You can see where some of the black shines through inside of the mouth or on the back of the teeth. And, I'm still happy with it. I'm still really proud of this model. It's one of my favorites. I love using him in the tabletop. He wrecks. He destroys everything. Whenever I'm fighting Michael, and he always has to target my Beastboss on a Squigosaur first because he's super tough, he's super tanky, and he will lay out wounds like no other. And lastly, here's a picture of, I mean, you could see his base throughout the entire thing after I got the paint for the base, and I really don't go into depth. If I really like how a model turns out, I'll put the base on it. If not, it doesn't really bug me. I don't mind if the color, the primer, black, green, or whatever. But this one, I got the Armageddon dust in the painting kit that I bought back when I first started Warhammer, and I really like how it looks like it's on the desert, you know. If you know anything about the War of Armageddon, I mean, it's a really interesting part of Orc lore with Gazkul Thraka and all that, and I really like just the deserty texture, sandy, you know. I kind of like how it gets in between the claws, and I kind of paint it onto the model sometimes itself just to make it look, you know, if you're in a desert, that dust sticks with you, and I want it to look like, you know, that the wind is kicking up and making that dust stick with the model. All right, y'all, that's all for now. I'm hoping to have some more paint previews up in the foreseeable future. I really like the format for them, and until next time, build, paint, play.